Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to AFK Journey. Now in today's video, I'm going to share with you guys the artifacts ranked from weakest to strongest. There are currently 6 artifacts in AFK Journey, and we're just going to rank these artifacts and to see, which artifact is the weakest, which artifact is the strongest. But before I get started on the video, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. I'd really appreciate it. If you guys are new here on the channel, I have a Discord server. So if you guys are interested in joining, I'll post a server link in the comment section down below that you guys can join up. Anyways, let's not waste any time and let's go ahead and hop right into the video. All right, so first things first, we're going to go ahead and read like pretty much all of the artifact skills. And after that, we're going to pretty much test, their potential in like AFK stages and of course PvP as well. So let's go ahead and let's read these skills. So the first thing we have right here is Iron Wall Spell. So it says Iron Wall Spell blesses the frontmost allied hero at the start of a battle, increasing their physical defense and magic defense by 15% and energy on hit by 20 for the rest of the battle. At the start of a battle and every 12 seconds thereafter, grants the blessed ally a shield by 20% of their max HP for 6 seconds. The blessing effects cannot be dispelled. So if there are enemies who can place debuffs on you, enemies cannot remove the Iron Wall Spell. They can't remove that from you. And let's go ahead and continue. It says the ratio of gained physical defense and magic defense of blessed allied heroes is increased to 20%. And then the last part, the blessing effect will be transferred to a living allied hero in the front line when the blessed hero is defeated. The blessing can only be transferred one time in each battle. So that is pretty much the Iron Wall spell, and we're going to go ahead and test out this spell. All right, so I am currently on AFK stage 901, and this is of course the team formation I'm going to use. This is the free-to-play meta team comp, and we are going to use the Iron Wall spell. So this is how the spell is going to work. Entendre is going to get the Iron Wall spell, and then she's going to pretty much, actually no, the frontmost ally is going to get the Iron Wall spell. So Cixia might get this spell, and then Entendre, when we look at Entendre's skill right here, we look at her active skill, she's going to grant Cixia a shield as well. So the whole point of this team comp and Iron Wall spell is to keep Cixia alive. Let's go ahead and test Iron Wall spell in this team comp. So let's see how good it is. So right now Cixia has the Iron Wall spell, and she has that increased physical defense and magic defense as well, and you guys can clearly see that her survivability is really good. So let's go ahead and continue watching this. All right, I think we can actually clear this. All right, so as you guys can see right there, Cixia literally survived. And if we check the stats right here, she was able to take 3 million damage. And remember, Cixia is a marksman unit. She's not even a tank. And the fact that she was able to take that much damage, Iron Wall spell is definitely a good spell that you want to use, especially for a free-to-play team comp. So that is pretty much the Iron Wall spell. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next spell. So when we take a look at the next spell, it's going to be Confining Spell. So let's go ahead and read it. It says 3 seconds into a battle, deals magic damage equal to 25% of the team attack to 2 enemies in the back every 12 seconds, making them unable to move or act for 1.5 seconds. So right off the bat, it's pretty obvious that Confining Spell is going to be a spell that's going to be used on enemies who are in the back row. So if you're struggling with eliminating enemies in the back row, this is going to be the spell that you want to use. And it says the prison duration is going to be increased to 2.5 seconds, and the cooldown of this ability is reduced to 10 seconds. So the Confining spell is pretty simple. Now let's go ahead and test it. All right, so we're going to use the same exact team comp, but this time we're going to use the Confining spell. And what the Confining spell is going to do is it's going to pretty much imprison enemies in the back row and deal some damage as well. So let's go ahead, enter battle right here, and let's see how effective this spell can be. So as you guys can see, they're imprisoned in the back right here, and they're receiving some damage as well. Now the damage isn't that big, to be honest, but it is silencing range units from the back row, which is kind of helpful. So as you guys can see, we're now moving to the back row enemies, and now we're eliminating them. And yeah, instant clear. So overall, I will say when it comes to damage, Confining Spell isn't the best when it comes to damage, but when it comes to, imprisoning, enemies in the back row, it's not a bad spell overall. But is it, game breaking compared to Iron Wall? Not really. So I will say comparing Iron Wall to Confining Spell, two completely different spells, but Iron Wall is way better than Confining Spell. So that is pretty much Confining Spell. Now let's go ahead and move on to Blazing Spell. So Blazing Spell, what this spell does is shoots a fireball at the weakest enemy every 5 seconds, dealing magic damage equal to 20% of the team attack. The damage dealt is increased to 30% of the team attack, and then deals extra damage to 4% of target's lost HP, capped at 20% of team attack. So let's go ahead and test this out. All right, so let's go ahead and test out the Blazing Spell in the same exact team comp, and let's see how effective it is. So we're going to go ahead and enter battle right here, and let's see what happens. So we're basically going to deal some damage, and that's really the whole point of this spell. Now, I'm not going to lie, the damage is not that crazy. I don't even see, us doing that much damage with a Blazing Spell at all. But our main DPS unit is dead. So we're going to go ahead and restart that one more time. I'm going to restart it one more time. And let's go ahead and enter again. I'm going to switch out Cecia's position. And let's enter one more time to see if that's going to fix anything. So once again, not enough damage. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the damage is not really that insane, to be honest. I mean, it can deal damage, but it's not that crazy. So I think we can still clear this though. Yeah, I think we can actually still clear this. Cecia is still alive. We can definitely still clear this, but I'm not gonna lie, Blazing Spell, it's not that good. Like, because it's a damage dealing spell and the damage isn't that crazy. So I'm not gonna lie, Blazing Spell, not looking good for Blazing Spell right now. Let's go ahead and check out the stats. Cecia, of course, doing the most damage, but yeah, Blazing Spell, it's honestly kind of mid. It's really mid, to be honest, really mid. Now let's go ahead and move on to Enlightening Spell. So at the start of a battle, the attack speed of one remote allied hero in the back is increased by 80 for 15 seconds. While the skill takes effect, the buffed allied hero gains control immunity. The bonus attack speed is increased to 100, and then the effect duration is increased to 20 seconds. So once you level this up to level 10, you'll be able to increase the duration to 20 seconds, which is honestly pretty good. And the way that this spell works is you want to make sure that the ally in your team is placed in like the rearmost tile so that they can receive the attack speed buff. So we're going to go ahead and test this out. All right, so I changed the formation. It is the same exact free-to-play team comp team, but I just changed the formation. I changed their position, and of course we have the attack speed spell. And the reason why I changed the formation is because Cecia, she is the farthest away from the enemy, and she is going to receive the attack speed buff. We're going to go ahead and test this out real quick, and let's see how effective it is. So as you guys can see, Cecia has that attack speed boost, and you guys can see that she is doing a lot of damage. So let's see what happens here. Okay, our Coco is dead, which isn't good, I'm not gonna lie, but can we actually beat this? Oh, it's not looking good. Okay, so the attack speed is pretty good. It is really good when it comes to dealing damage, especially against bosses. But of course, depending on your formation, which allies you're using, sometimes it won't work, but it is a good spell overall. Now let's go ahead and talk about the next spell. So that was attack speed. Now let's go ahead and talk about Star Shard spell. So when we take a look at Star Shard spell, every 4 times allied heroes cast their ultimate, a flame wave is unleashed on all enemies. The flame wave deals true damage equal to 16% of the target's current HP and up to 60% of team attack. The flame wave also reduces target's attack speed by 60 for 4 seconds, and then when you level up even more, it increases damage to 24% of the current HP, capped at 90% of team attack, and then triggered after allies use 3 ultimates. So the way that you can activate this spell is when your allies cast their ultimate skill, and once you reach level 10, you'll be able to trigger Star Shard spell if 3 of your allies cast their ultimate. So as long as 3 ultimates are casted, you can activate the Star Shard spell. So let's go ahead and test this out. All right, this time I'm going to use a different team, and Vala, she's going to be with Reiner, and we of course have the Star Shard spell activated. So let's go ahead and test out this spell, and let's see how good it is. So every time someone does their ultimate, the spell will activate. So every time 3 allies cast their ultimate, there it is, attack speed reduction, and we also have that damage as well, the damage increase. All right, and then we got another one. So I'm not gonna lie, this spell is actually pretty good. Like the fact that you're able to reduce the enemy's attack speed, and on top of that you can deal damage, that is really good overall. And on top of that, you get haste increase as well. So this spell, Star Shard spell, it is a really nice spell overall. All right, now looking at the last spell, we have Awakening spell. So 5 seconds after the battle starts, summons Radiant Light to restore 3 weakest allied heroes max HP by 7% every 10 seconds, increasing the healing amount to 10% of max HP, and the number of allies to receive this buff is increased to 4. So basically 4 allies maximum will receive the Radiant Life restoration. So this is basically a healing spell and is going to increase your team's survivability. So let's go ahead and check out this spell. All right, so we're back to the free-to-play team comp team, and you guys can see that I am using the Awakening spell. So let's go ahead and see how well we can perform. So let's go ahead and enter battle right here. Let's see what happens. So we're going, okay, we got the healing right there. There it is. Not looking way too bad so far. Everyone is still alive. Okay. Okay, this is looking pretty okay. What is that bug? I don't know if I'm the only one, but there's like a Cecilia bug where like her goblin is gonna do some weird buggy attack. I don't know. I think they have to fix that. But this spell is looking pretty good so far. Like survivability, really nice. We're constantly healing ourselves up. Really good overall. So let's go ahead and finish this battle. And of course, this guy right here is the only one remaining. Yo, this character is so annoying to kill. Really annoying. Let's go ahead and check out the stats real quick. So Cecilia taking 8 million damage. That is crazy. 8 million damage taken from a character who is a marksman is insane. So as you guys can see, the survivability really strong. That is a really good spell overall. Now if we come back and we look at all of the artifacts we have so far, after going through AFK stages with these artifacts, I will say that okay, let's go ahead and rank these artifacts first things first. Let's rank them. So based off of AFK stage performance, like PvE performance, I'll say the weakest spell was of course Blazing Spell. And the reason why Blazing Spell was the weakest is because it doesn't deal that much damage. Like of course it's going to target the weakest enemy, but the thing is it doesn't do that much damage to actually eliminate that enemy. So I will say Blazing Spell, it is the weakest one out of all of them because it just doesn't do that much damage, and it's a damage dealing spell. So you would expect for this spell to actually excel when it comes to damage, but it really doesn't. So yes, this is the weakest spell I will say so far. And then when we move on over to the 5th weakest spell, I will say Confining spell is the 5th weakest because Confining spell is situational. Sometimes there's not going to be any range, enemies who are going to do ranged attacks, and you only imprison them for like 2.5 seconds. It's not even for a long time, and it doesn't really deal that much damage. So Confining spell, I'll say this is the 5th weakest spell. And then for the 4th weakest, I'm gonna have to go with attack speed. I will say when it comes to Enlightening spell, it is a strong spell, but I'll say that an Enlightening spell is mostly good against bosses. I'll say in PvP, not PvP, but in PvE, it's not that crazy. But if you're putting it on units like Cecilia, let's say Vala for example, it can really work on those units, but it's a situational artifact that doesn't work on every single character. So Enlightening spell, really strong spell because it has attack speed increase, HP increase, and it's really good overall. And you can also be immune to control effects. but compared to the other spells, it is not a universal spell that can be used on pretty much every single character. So Enlightening spell is the 4th weakest, and then I'll say for the 3rd weakest, I will have to go with Iron Wall spell. Now, the reason why I go with Iron Wall spell is because Iron Wall spell, it is a really strong defensive spell because it can increase your haste and vitality. But the thing is, Iron Wall spell, you want to make sure that you're putting it on a unit that lacks at survivability. And of course, sometimes other enemies, they might be able to penetrate through Iron Wall spell and they can do some insane one-shot damage. For example, Vala. So Iron Wall spell is just, you know, an additional defensive spell that can increase your like just one unit survivability, and that's pretty much it. So it is still a really good spell. That's why I put it in 3rd place, but it is the 3rd weakest. Now when we look at the 2nd weakest spell, I'm gonna have to go with Awakening spell. And the reason why I go with Awakening spell is because Awakening spell, it increases your survivability and it also increases your attack. As you guys can see, you get a 4.2% attack increase, which is also pretty good. And I'll say when it comes to survivability, Awakening spell is just really strong because you get that physical and magic boost, which is really nice. So there's really no cons when it comes to Awakening spell. But compared to a Star Shard spell, this spell is just absolutely broken. It can work in every single team comp because you're basically placing a huge AoE debuff on the enemy and slowing down their attack speed, which is really good overall. And on top of that, you're increasing your haste and HP, and on top of that, this spell deals damage. So Star Shard spell is the strongest spell overall. Of course, that's my opinion, but I feel like this is definitely like the strongest spell overall, especially against bosses as well. Like, let's say you're going up against a boss that has insane attack speed. Star Shard spell will deal good damage, and on top of that, is going to reduce the boss's attack speed overall. So that's pretty much all of the spells ranked from weakest to strongest. It goes from Blazing spell, then it goes from Confining spell, then it goes to Enlightening spell, then to Iron Wall spell, and then to Awakening spell, and then to Star Shard spell. So Star Shard spell, Awakening spell, and Iron Wall, these are like the top 3 artifacts that you definitely want to use because they're just really good all around, and attack speed as well, especially for bosses. So that's pretty much all of them ranked. I feel like for PvP, if I were to say, you know, which artifacts you should use for PvP, if I come over here to Arena, I will say that you definitely, let's go. But I will say when it comes to PvP, you want to use, let's go ahead and just enter a battle real quick. Let's just enter this one. So I'll say for PvP, you mostly want to use Star Shard spell, Awakening spell, and of course Iron Wall spell. And you can use Enlightening spell as well. But when it comes to Blazing spell and Confining spell, these 2 spells are kind of useless, but it depends on the situation. But most of the time, everyone always uses Iron Wall spell, Enlightening spell, Star Shard spell, and Awakening spell. I never see anybody use Blazing spell or Confining. It just doesn't work, and it's just pretty much useless, to be honest. So I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to use a Star Shard spell real quick. And okay, let's see what happens here. So we just need to, I feel like if we can take that Smoky and move him to the back, that would be really nice. So let's move. Okay, let's go ahead and put Fallow right here, and then let's put Rhino right here, and then okay, I think this is honestly fine. I think this is fine. Let's just put, yeah, put you right here, put Smokey right here. Okay, I think this is actually pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and use Star Shard spell right here, and it's going to pretty much reduce the enemy's attack speed, and it's also going to do damage as well. So as you guys can see, we did some pretty decent damage, and we lowered the enemy's attack speed, and we almost eliminated everybody instantly. So Star Shard spell, definitely strong spell to use in PvP. It is really busted. Definitely recommend you guys to use that spell, and it seems like we're doing pretty good so far. So let's see if we can actually get rid of these enemies. This guy right here is just so annoying, man. I'm definitely going to make a video about this character in the future. I think his name is Igor. Yeah, I think it's Igor. Absolutely frustrating to fight against in PvP. He is so annoying. But as you guys can see, we won that fight. And yeah, Star Shard spell, really busted spell that you can use. It is really, in my opinion, the best artifact in the game. But anyways, that's all I wanted to share with you guys. Hopefully this video was able to help you guys out. I'll be ending the video at that. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. I really appreciate it, and I'll be catching you guys on the next one. Peace.